Welcome back, ladies and gents, to another TPM tactical video. Today's video is utilising no mods and therefore it is PS5 friendly. What we're going to be covering off on today is the hit reg boxes for each one of the vanilla USSR vehicles. I have already created a video on the hit reg for the US vehicles. Just take a look at my YouTube channel and you should be able to find it. Otherwise I can link in the description below. We're going to be utilising the M16 with standard rounds. So this is the M16 rounds we're using, the 5.56 by 45mm full metal jacket rounds. And we're going to try and damage each vehicle in different locations to see how much damage we can cause to disable or destroy the vehicles. So starting, we're going to be looking at the UAZ 469 before moving on to the UAZ 452, so the AMBO. And then we have the Ural 4320, the BTR 70, and then finally the MI8 MT. So we'll head back over here to start with the UAZ 469. Okay, here we are. We're going to be starting with the UAZ 469. So as you can see in front of me, there's a few boxes on the vehicles. These are the hit reg related to different parts of the vehicle. So if we look at the UAZ here, you can see at the top left it has different hit zones. So you got the hull, being obviously the overall part of the vehicle, engine, this little this rectangle here at the front and the center, the gearbox. So the gearbox relate to this section under the front, this part here, plus the shafts that go all the way through to the actual gearbox in the center, and then here down to the back. What else we got? Fuel tanks, so they're going to be the left and right hand side of the vehicle. The battery, which is, what's that? This small box here in the center, off into the vehicle's right, my left, and then obviously the lights, wheels, doors, cargo area, everything else. So basically we have this damage manager up so that when we shoot at the particular points, the different hit zones, it will record the damage on the top left, as you can see where it says health. So for example, we'll be starting with the engine. If we're shooting through the front mesh here, front grille at the engine, you can see at the top left it's gone from 450 down to 377 with one round. Plus I have the bullet markings on so we can see where the bullet is heading. As you can see, it's highlighted the engine where it's damaged. It's now down to 377 health points, if you want to call it that. So for the UAZ, damaging the engine, pretty simple. Front center, straight through, you're going to easily be able to damage it. See if we can get to it from the side. Yep, so from the right hand side of the vehicle, we can damage it. Damage the engine, that is. Yep, left side. So it's definitely easy to damage the engine on the UAZ. If we're trying to damage the gearbox, a little bit harder, we've got to shoot down here. So you can see where it's highlighted, where that's damaging, so everything there is highlighted is related to the gearbox. Easiest part in this vehicle to disable is going to be the engine, if you're not trying to shoot the driver. We've got fuel tanks on the side. Yep, so we are damaging the fuel tank. That's fuel tank 2 on the right hand side of the vehicle. It's down to 441. And again, same principle on the opposite side. Wheels, pretty straightforward. And yeah, so basically to disable this vehicle with the standard M16, so the standard rounds with the M16, shoot center mass straight through the vehicle at the front and at the engine, and you will be able to disable it, or disable it. You won't be able to destroy it that way, but it won't be able to run anymore. So if we go in the vehicle, so if we jump in the vehicle, and you can see down the bottom left, the engine there, it's got the warning lights and everything on, fuel lights, the gearbox damaged. What's the default button to get out of a vehicle? I've changed all my keybinds for the actual game. Okay, let's delete this UAZ now. Get that out of the way. Okay, so now we have the UAZ 452. So as you can see here now though, the engine is more a bit further into the center of the vehicle itself. So let's try to shoot through this grille. Where's that hitting? So it looks like it's hitting, what's this, like the radiator or metal plate of some sort, protecting the engine. So you may not be able to damage the Ambo's engine from the front. Hit the gearbox is low. Oh, one of the rounds, oh no, ricocheted underneath. Yep, so you can get some damage through, as you can see at the top left on the engine. The health is down to 417.4 from a total 450. However, disabling the engine from the front of the vehicle is going to be difficult. Gearbox, on the other hand, if you are prone, you can easily damage the gearbox, which you can see relates to that whole section there, all the way down to the back. What if we get to the engine from the side? So you can disable or damage the engine by shooting diagonally through here between the tyre and the frame. But best bet, the engine is well protected there. Better off just taking out the wheels, taking out the driver. Fuel tanks on the side. Nice and easy to get to. Okay, let's move on. Let me just clear this other vehicle out of the way. Okay, so the Ural 4320, if it's anything like the US truck, easy to damage every part of it. Yep, straight in the front, few rounds, we're already down to 216.8 health from a total of 600. So disabling the Ural, center mass through the grille into the engine. Part of the gearbox. You can see where the gearbox related items are going through. So obviously the gearbox in the center, the drive shafts or whatever you want to call them, and then connecting to the back here between the wheels. Fuel tanks, very easy to gain access to if you want to disable their fuel. Oh, it's only one fuel tank. That looks like just one fuel tank on the left hand side of the vehicle. And if you want to destroy the batteries, don't know if we can shoot through here. Yep. I'm not sure if the batteries relate to the power of the vehicle in relation to the lights. If they're disabled, they may not work, but if you do know, leave it in the comments below. Okay, so Ural, very easy to damage with the standard Full Metal Jacket M16 rounds. Okay, BTR 70. So you can see the gearbox, everything related to the gearbox is running out the center, underneath to the center section here. I feel like I'm not going to do any penetration on this vehicle whatsoever, so let's see how we go. No damage. I believe that's probably related to, is that going to be the engine? With that, that's probably the fuel tanks. I'm not 100% sure where each item is. If I can't damage it, I'm not sure. Each component. So here we go. Yeah, as expected, it doesn't look like I'm going to do much damage to the BTR 70 with the standard Full Metal Jacket rounds. Better off just AT mine, RPG, or law. I think the only damage you're going to be able to do to the vehicle. Yeah, so the tyres obviously going to be the only weak spot. So with the M16 Full Metal Jacket 5.56 rounds, the only damage you can do to the vehicle is the tyres. Okay, let's take a look at the MI8. So let's look at the rotors or the blades. Hope you can damage the main rotors. One of those rounds, not sure exactly which one, probably the most central one. It's a bit hit and miss on damaging the rotors. Probably better off going to the main shaft itself. I'm not sure which part. I would think that this part here in the center was the main shaft. However, that damage seems to be related to the rotor main. Okay, so that's how many bullets it takes to destroy the rotor. So was that about 14 or so? So if you get 14, roughly 14, 15 shots directly on the main rotor, you'll be able to damage it or destroy it with the 5.56 rounds standard. Okay, it's moving on. So we've got petrol tanks, fuel tanks. Yep, easily accessible, left and right hand side of the helo. You can definitely penetrate through that with the 5.56. What we got here is another fuel tank. Yep, so that's fuel tank number 3. So 1 and is this one 2? This is number 1's left side, number 2's right side, and the center top one is the fuel tank number 3. Okay, so we've got here. So here's part of the gearbox, so that's going to relate to this here as well, the drive shaft. Yep, so drive shaft 2, heading all the way down to the back, and this will be drive shaft 3. And we're moving on to the engine. So, should be able to hit the engine through here unless it's protected. Oh, it looks like we can't damage the... Nope, let's stop that from smoking. Looks like we can't damage the engines, so we've got extra protection on those, a bit extra armor. Try from the front. Yep, so the engines themselves, engine 1 and engine 2, are well protected. You can't do any damage to that. Well, with a standard 5.56 rounds. And I suppose the last part is going to be the tail rotor. Oh, where's that? Rotor tail. So number 15, rotor tail, health 289.2. After 2 hits, our total health is 300. So it takes quite a few 5.56 rounds to do any damage to the tail rotor. It's down to 127, so just under half after what's like a mag. So if you are trying to damage the helo itself, best bet take out its fuel tanks or the main rotor itself. Definitely a lot easier to destroy the main rotor than it is the tail rotor. Well, that's pretty much it. That's the vehicles we're going to cover off on today. So that was the UAZ 469, the UAZ 452, the Ural 4320, the BTR 70, and the MI8 MT. So what we found out is the BTR 70, pretty much no damage done apart from the wheels with the standard rounds. The UAZ 469, he damaged it fairly easily through the front grille. The Ural, completely exposed to bullets from any direction. The UAZ 452, the engine's well protected on that. That's the ambulance. Best bet is to try to take the gearbox below, obviously, or the driver. Unless you're trying to disable it to set up an ambush, then yeah, gearbox to prevent them from taking off. MI8, MT, main rotor or fuel tanks is the way to go. So hopefully this video has helped you out. And if you do have any questions, queries, please leave in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.